Visionaire, Episode 7. Last week on Visionaire, Prime Minister Kleo's interrogation revealed there is more to Erion than even Mathius realized. Meanwhile, aboard the Lady Jane, our four friends discovered that they might not be in as safe of company as they thought. Erion, Blaze, and Trinity stand staring at Milo through the semi-transparent light of the hologram. While Erion and Blaze read the tiny letters sprawled before them, Trinity's rage cannot be contained.
What is this? What the hell is this?
Look, Trin, I can explain.
Why does the Capitol have a whole file on you? What is this? You left Mathius to serve the freaking Capitol?
It's not as simple as that.
No, it's not. She's not just serving the Capitol, Trinity. She's been feeding them information.
You're a spy?
All these years, you sent me letters, you asked questions, poking and prodding. What was that ever really for me, or was it for them?
It wasn't all just for them.
Wasn't all?
I also begged you to leave, didn't I? I told you where to find me, that I'd keep you safe. Trinity, I meant it all.
How could I possibly believe you?
I thought there was something fishy about you, right from the start. When we were back at the shipyard, remember what she called me? White coat. There's only one brand of people who ever called me that. And they weren't just your average soldiers of the Capitol. They were the favorites. Handpicked by the Prime Minister herself. Walked around like they had a golden spoon in their mouth because they had won a favor from Kleo herself.
One favor?
What happened after you left the compound, Milo? No more secrets, no more lies. The truth.
Milo looks around at the faces of the group, her eyes finally resting on Trinity. She takes a deep breath and sighs.
Okay, fine. But you probably want to sit down. This will take a minute.
A minute's not that long.
Not literally.
While Milo takes over control of the hologram in the center of the room, Mathius grows anxious and desperate back in the Capitol. Back in the Capitol interrogation room on Vita Nova, Prime Minister Kleo sits across from him once more, enjoying his increasing discomfort. The monitor sits beside her on the table, the image of Erion in the vault still burning on the screen.
So she's not here anymore. Where is she?
Well, now, don't play coy with me, Mr. Patterson. She's your daughter, after all.
I swear to the gods, I don't know what got into her, why she left with that other girl.
Well, maybe it would spark your interest to hear that the two were not on their own here. They entered the Capitol with two others, a former white coat who goes by the name of Blaze, and another young woman who you might happen to remember.
The Prime Minister motions before the monitor and the image changes to show Milo's face, unblinking, staring back at the two of them. Mathius gasps.
Ah, so you do remember Milo then?
What have you done to her?
What have we done to her? Mr. Patterson, I can't say I appreciate that tone. If I recall correctly, Miss Nelson had run away from you, not us. Rather ingeniously, I might add. I still haven't seen a brain that works quite like hers in all my time here. By all means, that ship she nearly crashed into the side of the outer village wall should not have been able to function, much less fly. Yet there she was, scrappy little kid. Can you believe she even bit one of our guards who brought her in here?
I always liked that kid.
And once we got her here, gave her some proper food and clothing, a nice bed, she had lots to tell us. She knew very little about the origins of the ship she rode in on, nor the acts of magic you were so quick to show off to keep your clan in line.
You told her?
A Cliff's Notes version, yes. You should have seen the look on that girl's face when we told her that none of it, in fact, was from the blessing of the gods, but by foreign, hostile forces that planned to kill us 25 years ago.
They were not hostile. It's just a narrative they brainwashed all of you mindless slaves with, that anything foreign to us is something to be feared and fought.
No one had to brainwash anyone, Mathius. We have eyes, we have ears. Once the information was presented, how could we not draw the obvious conclusion? They were not friends from afar. They were aliens.
They were living beings! Ambassadors from another planet!
Prime Minister Sourly was right about you. Naive, foolish, weak-hearted. That's why you smuggled her out, wasn't it? Did she convince you that we were the evil ones? That all she and her kind wanted was peace and love? Did she promise you a place among her people once you two returned to her planet?
She did not promise me anything. I loved her more than anything in this universe, and I could not leave her here to die at the hands of you monsters!
There is a silence in the room as Prime Minister Kleo sits back, a look of triumph on her face. Mathias's face changes from fury to sorrow. He bows his head and begins to weep.
So, the truth comes out then.
About an hour later, back on the Lady Jane, tension has been replaced with confusion as Milo turns back to the others. Her face is grim as Trinity bites her nails, Blaze runs his hand through his hair, and Erion stares at her feet.
Okay, so I have a few questions.
Just a few?
He doesn't mean literally.
So you're saying that the ship we saw, the one you escaped on, was an alien spaceship?
Oversimplified, but yes.
An alien spaceship that Mathius, cult leader and avid science denier Mathius, had escaped from the Capitol after having worked as a lab tech himself for the Capitol?
That just doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make any sense.
Well, I don't know what to say. It's the truth.
They wouldn't even tell you what they thought he took? How would you have known if you had found it if you didn't even know what you were looking for?
Look, this is everything I know. It's weird. It's really damn out there, but that's all of it. I don't know why they wouldn't tell me. Maybe they didn't know themselves. All I know is that when Mathius left, it was in a hurry and it was with a bang. If that isn't a clear sign of someone up to no good, I don't know what is.
Why do you still think it was for a bad reason?
What do you mean?
He didn't kill anyone. They don't even know what he took, if he even took anything, right? Why is he the bad guy here?
I mean, Erion, I hate to side with the backstabber here, but you have to admit that Mathius is a little off his rocker.
I don't know what that means, but I think you're wrong. Sure, he's always been a little overprotective and strict and
kind of crazy?
Erion lets out a small, frustrated groan and stands up, walking out the back door of the lounge. Milo's shoulders slump, a look of defeat plain on her face. Trinity looks cautiously from Blaze to Milo.
So, what now?
Well, it's been terribly dramatic for my taste. It also doesn't change what we came out here for. It's all we be greeted when we get back.
If we come back with a cure, we won't have to worry about anything. The Prime Minister might not like Mathius and might not be happy with how we left, but saving the people of Vita Nova from certain death will erase all of that.
Yeah, because she'll say it was all her idea. Take all the credit for us flying out here risking our lives to save theirs.
Does that honestly matter who gets the credit as long as everyone lives?
No. It'd be nice though.
How long will it take us to get there, Milo?
Lightspeed looks functional, but unsteady. I wouldn't want to bank on using it the whole way. Our best bet will be to follow the course at least to the halfway point, about 2 weeks' time, and then make the jump from there for the final leg.
2 weeks?
At least.
Great. Awesome.
Milo looks up from Blaze and Trinity to see Erion walk slowly back into the room. Keeping her eyes fixed on Erion, Milo walks to Trinity and taps her on the shoulder. Trinity looks up at her, then follows her gaze towards Erion. She gasps. Erion's eyes are unseeing, glowing a soft blue as she seems to glide to the center of the space. Blaze gets to his feet, his face pale as he looks from Erion to Trinity.
What the hell has happened?
She's having another vision.
She's done this before?
Time is running out. You must make haste.
What does that mean? What do you mean?
Your time for safe passage is reaching its end. Her ladyship is awaiting your arrival at the gate.
Safe passages. Milo?
I don't know.
They are coming.
The Lady Jane stops on a dime, sending Milo, Blaze, and Trinity toppling sideways. Milo scrambles to her feet and runs to the window, gasping as she sees, one by one, capital ships appear around them. Trinity and Blaze clamber to the other side, Trinity covering her mouth with her hand.
They're everywhere.
We're surrounded.
No, she said she wouldn't.
You called them here, didn't you? Admit it, Milo.
None of that bullshit was true, I'll bet. You were just buying time until your friends could show up and drag us all back.
I swear on my mother's grave, I did not. They asked for our coordinates in case I needed backup, but they said they wouldn't.
How could you?
Unseen as the three argue, Erion walks to the cockpit and sits down in the large captain's chair. She closes her eyes and puts her hand out onto the dashboard. Slowly, her skin begins to shine a brilliant and pure light that spreads to encompass everything surrounding her. The dashboard, the walls, and slowly works its way all through the Lady Jane until the entire ship is a beacon of light. Trinity, Milo, and Blaze freeze mid-sentence to look around in awe. On the capital ship, at the same time, from outside the Lady Jane, Lieutenant Holden watches in puzzled amazement as their target shines brightly into her crew's faces. The brightness becomes unbearable. She throws a hand over her eyes to shield from the blinding light. She reaches out with her other for her communication device.
Corporal Nelson, this is Lieutenant Holden. Do you copy? Corporal, I command you to turn off or put out whatever obstruction device you have in place. Corporal!
Shouts are heard from the crew around Lieutenant Holden as the Lady Jane emits a radiant flash of white-hot light, followed by a collection of shocked gasps. The light now gone, Lieutenant Holden moves her hand only to see, to her disbelief, that the Lady Jane has vanished. Frantic shouts surround her as she curses under her breath. She picks up her communication device once more and switches the frequency.
Prime Minister Kleo, this is Lieutenant Holden. We have lost visual of the Lady Jane.
I think I misheard you, Lieutenant. Did you say you lost them?
Affirmative, Prime Minister. We have lost visual. We had them surrounded, but...
I don't want to hear any excuses, Lieutenant. Report back once you have them in your sights.
But, Prime Minister...
I will not repeat myself. That is a direct order, Lieutenant.
Yes, Prime Minister.
Lieutenant Holden turns to her fleet as light years away the Lady Jane appears, glowing bright and vivid white. As the glow fades, our friends on board look out to see their new surroundings. Milo runs to the cockpit, finding Erion slumped over in the captain's chair. She scoops her into her arms and carries her back to the lounge where Trinity and Blaze are waiting. Milo lays Erion down on the couch as Trinity runs to her friend. Erion's eyes open slowly, smiling up at the group.
God's alive, Erion. What was that?
What did you do? Where are we?
On the belt of the planet of glowing green light, here you shall find salvation.
Milo, Blaze, and Trinity look to each other, then walk over to the window just beside Erion. The green glow of the planet before them illuminates their faces as the Lady Jane slowly draws closer.
We're here.
To be continued.